Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy, and this is a video on your WWE events for this week. Well, partial spoilers for Superstars, 2 matches. But first, as usual, I give you the WWE news for this week, or from the weekend. And here we go. Former WWE talent Harry Smith, aka David Hart Smith, is on Twitter. Twitter.com/RealHarrySmith. He's presently in training for mixed martial arts and continues to compete for the Inoki Genome Federation in Japan. The American Angel, Sarah Del Rey, turned 31 years old. Happy birthday to her. Her birthday was yesterday on Sunday. During Saturday's broadcast of the Hockey Night in Canada, program host Don Cherry stated Dallas Stars defenseman Sheldon Surrey is dating Kelly Kelly. Photos of the WWE diva and the guy, who he called a Grand Slam winner in wrestling, were shown. Tough Enough contestant Ivelisse Velez returned to a WWE ring at FCW Live event. Therefore, WWE has re-signed her. She was eliminated from the recent season due to an injury from the NXT show. Velez is the third woman for Tough Enough, they say Tough Enough, to currently be signed to FCW, as Christina Crawford and Ariane Andrew are there as well. Christina Crawford is Alicia Fox's sister, for those that didn't know. Oh, you didn't know? I just told you so. She has previously gone under the name of Juliet the Huntress. And that's for Ivelisse. Arda Ocal on Twitter is at Arda_Ocal. And Jimmy Caderas at Jimmy Caderas of Aftermath Radio. From thescore.com spoke with former WWE manager and current WWE employee Downtown Bruno Lawler, also known as Harvey Wimpleman. Highlights from the interview were as follows. Talking about his association with WWE, what his current duties are with the WWE today. He says, I work behind the scenes, take care of all the details, whatever needs to be done for the TV production and pay-per-views. I'm just happy to be doing it for, after 32 years of in the business. Another way to look at it, and how I describe it in my book, would be WWE concierge. Does he feel the era of managers for WWE have passed, or would he love to see the era of managers for WWE return in the near future? Quote, if it came back again, it would be brand new to a lot of people. I wouldn't want to manage because I can't perform up to the capacity that I was able to back in my younger days. But yeah, I can definitely see it happening. Unquote. Well, we got managers of Miss Piggy Guerrero and Ricardo Rodriguez. Well, okay. Other topics they discussed included sharing some funny stories about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, including buying him his very first car, explaining how he broke into the Memphis territory with Jerry the King Lawler, and the lengths he went to get in touch with Lawler to finally land a spot in Memphis. Then he said, quote, said Justice, Kamala, Mr. Hughes, and Glenn Gonzalez, being the toughest guys he'd ever managed, all for different reasons. Seeing Brodus Clay and Titus O'Neil as 2 superstars, he would really make an impact in the near future in WWE. And then he recalls his car accident in 1994 that tragically took the life of referee Joey Marella, and how that affected his future travel forever, trust issues with drivers and airplanes. explaining the openness of his book called Wrestling with the Truth. And talking about crossing paths with the individual in the book, he gave honest but less than favorable opinions on including Bruce Pritchard. That's Brother Love, if you don't know. Mick Foley and among others. And that was the end of his basically report. And here's other news. Former WWE superstar Bobby Lashley defeated Carl Noth on Friday night in Lubbock, Texas to become the new Shark Fights Texas Heavyweight Champion. Lashley won the fight in 3 minutes with a submission called Chimera submission. Lashley has been training heavily lately and has been focusing on catch wrestling with the help of Josh Barnett. And many people have not wanted to fight Bobby Lashley because he's a tough individual in mixed martial arts. Okay, WWE Shop website has extended their Veterans Day sale until midnight tonight. Use promo code VET15 to receive 15% off orders of $100 or more. Raw and SmackDown crews returned home yesterday from their tour of Europe. Zack Ryder revealed that they broke the record for most Broski t-shirts sold in one night at the Raw Live event in London this weekend. Former WWE superstar Chris Jericho wrote the following on Twitter last night. Sounds like he may have something in the works for Dancing with the Stars again. But he wants to set the fans straight. Let me get something straight. I will never wrestle for WWE again. There is some big news coming up in the world of dance. Unquote. WWE superstar Epico can be found on Twitter at WWE Epico. And for those that don't know, Epico is related to Primo and also Carlito. They're cousins. I was thinking they were brothers, but they're only cousins. And speaking of cousins, they are wrestling on Superstars this week as a tag team. WWE is holding a Survivor Series party Friday, November the 18th at noon at Madison Square Garden in New York City. CM Punk will be appearing and will participate in a Q&A with the fans as well and sign autographs for the first 150 fans. Wristbands will be given out beginning at 8 a.m. so arrive early. THQ will have WWE 12 on display for the fans to play. So there's your sneak peek and possible playing if you're there at the event. WWE is also doing a contest where fans can win a seat on the WWE VIP tour bus that around New York City. The bus will travel to the party with Zack Ryder and Jimmy Hart on board. Winners also receive Q&A with Zack Ryder, prizes and a guaranteed spot at the Punk signing. If you live in the area, you can register online. WrestlingNewsCenter.com reported James Harris, who also known as the Ugandan Giant Kamala, had his foot amputated Monday of last week due to complications of high blood pressure and diabetes. So, folks, if you have either one, be very careful. Take your medicines. Specifically myself, I have the medicine part of diabetes, which is a pill. Metformin. Hollywood Jimmy, a close friend of Harris, wrote Wednesday, I talked to James today and he's in good spirit. James is a true Memphis wrestling legend and will be missed in the wrestling world. Had the opportunity to travel up and down the road with James. He's one of the nicest people in the wrestling business. I wish James a speedy recovery and we hope that he feels better. This would likely signal the end of his 37-year career as a professional wrestler, which has included stops in every major promotion, including WWE, World Class Championship Wrestling, National Wrestling Alliance, Mid-South Wrestling, Memphis Wrestling, World Championship Wrestling, Extreme Championship Wrestling, and the American Wrestling Association. He continued to compete on the independent wrestling circuit in recent years and would occasionally resurface on the national television. He last appeared on the national television show at TNA Wrestling Slammiversary pay-per-view in June of 2008. As a guest of Jay Lethal and SoCal Val's wedding. That didn't happen. Harris is on Facebook at facebook.com/profile. Okay. Just type in facebook.com/1656220-687. His last message, published October 14th, reads, "Sometime when I'm riding along the highways in my big 18-wheeler, I think of a particular moment in wrestling, and I will just hold on to it as long as I can with warmth. Then again, there are the sad times. I guess we all have them." And that was the end of that one. What he was saying, as seen on Friday's SmackDown last week, Primo Colon has aligned himself with a team of Epico, Hunico, and WWE has acknowledged that Primo and Epico are cousins. WWE Shop, the website, has released a new retro t-shirt, or actually brand new retro t-shirts and new superstar themed holiday packages. And if you don't know, well, I'm fixing to tell you so. WWE has a new shirt called Future Endeavors. Regarding Sin Cara not appearing on WWE's current tour of Europe, it's believed he was absent due to visa issues again. Speculation is that WWE did their papers for the tour earlier this year. It was when they were considering of releasing Cara from the contract, so he wasn't able to travel with the company. Official website of Cauliflower Alley Club states Killer Carl Cox, headliners in the 1960s and 70s, died Thursday at the age of 80. If you want to do a search on YouTube, he's got a few matches on there. His real name is Herb Gerwig. Suffered a fatal heart attack Thursday morning while hospitalized. He had been hospitalized due to a massive heart attack he suffered on October 20th, 2011. The National Wrestling Alliance issued a statement regarding his passing. The Cauliflower Hour Club is reporting a death earlier today of Killer Carl Cox. Cox wrestled all over the world and was a huge star in Australia, feuding with the likes of Spiros Arian, Mark Lewin, and others. Stateside, he held many titles, including the NWA title, NWA National, Central States, Florida, and Georgia Championships. Our thoughts go out to his family and friends. JR commented on legendary grappler's death on Twitter. Killer Carl Cox, who died over the weekend at age 80, was an awesome wrestler. His matches versus Dick Murdoch were textbook classics. Blessed to see Carl at Cauliflower Hour Club, he wrote. Former WWF star Henry O'Godwin, real name Mark Canterbury, was then involved in a car accident, drove off a cliff, according to PWInsider.com. He had some mild improvement over the weekend, though. And this is what happened. Canterbury drove his car off a cliff last week in West Virginia and had both his spleen and appendix removed on Wednesday. Well, while performing the surgery, doctors discovered a tumor in his appendix, so they removed that. His legs was broken in 3 places, and both of his lungs were punctured. He also suffered 13 broken ribs. Top priority at this point is to focus on healing his punctured lungs. Former WWE Intercontinental Champion Matt A-Train Bloom turned 39 years old today. So happy birthday, A-Train. Prince Albert, if you didn't know that. He's currently wrestling under the name Giant Bernard in Japan, where he holds the GHC Tag Team Championships and the IWGP Tag Championships, both with Carl Anderson. Booker T noted on Twitter that he has been training for his last run in the ring and told fans just to stay tuned. Wrestle Reunion Convention set for January 29th in Los Angeles will feature a Breakfast of Champions event that morning at 9 a.m. Tickets are $49 and you will be able to enjoy breakfast with 1 or 2 of the Wrestle Reunion guests for $25 more. You can pick your table and receive a DVD of footage from the breakfast. And here's your your table sitters. Mick Foley at table 1, Kevin Von Erich table 2, Vader at table 3, New Age Outlaws table 4, Scott Santa table 5, Molly, Holly and Nitro Girl Spice at table 6, Tommy Dreamer and Mikey Ripwreck at table 7, Kevin Sullivan and Rick Steiner at table 8. Yeah, Kevin Sullivan, my prediction, he was the one that actually killed the Benoits. But, anyways, Finley and David Hart Smith at table 9, Godfather and one of his hoes at table 10. And Jiminy Mouth of the South Heart and Carlos Colon at table 11. For more info, visit WrestleReunion.com. WWE.com has announced 2012 Royal Rumble will take place Sunday, January 29th, 2012. It was originally reported that the show will be held the week before. However, WWE has scheduled house shows in Texas and Mexico that day. Former WWE star Cliff Domino Compton was involved in a backstage incident at this past weekend's OVW show in Louisville, Kentucky, with the OVW star Muhammad Ali Vaez. The story is that Vaez was upset with the finish of their match and started complaining about Domino once they returned backstage. Storyline in the ring was that Domino was fighting for the honor of a one-legged war veteran turned pro wrestler, Michael Hayes, who was injured by Vaez before. Hayes appeared, which led to Domino hitting the low blow on Vaez for the win. Vaez ripped into Domino once they returned backstage, and others had to hold Domino back before the things got even more physical. The feeling among the wrestlers backstage, it was not the right place or time for Vaez to speak out, and that the Domino, a veteran, didn't deserve to be spoken to in that way in the locker room. WWE Hall of Famer Billy Superstar Graham was released from the hospital this weekend after battling pneumonia for several days. Former World Heavyweight Champion has been sent home with some strong antibiotics to continue the healing. CM Punk and John Cena paid tribute to Eddie Guerrero over the weekend after the November 12th Raw Live event in Minehead, England. Quote, "Rip Eddie Guerrero." Well, that was trending on Twitter this weekend, and several current and former WWE superstars also paid tribute. Guerrero passed away on November 13th, 2005. Dark match, what you've all been waiting for. From tonight's Raw, Michael McGillicuddy defeated JTG with a swinging neckbreaker. So they're not using the perfect plex. WWE Superstars taped two matches for this Thursday. First match, Alex Wright defeated Drew McIntyre. Match number 2, Epico and Primo defeated the Usos after Primo used a backstabber. Now what you've all been waiting for, Raw Super Show kicks off with normal intro. Pyro goes off inside the TD Garden as Jerry Lawler welcomes us to Boston, Massachusetts. Michael Cole introduced, and out he comes and boos. Cole says JR has finally shown some guts, and he's in Boston tonight to take the Michael Cole challenge. Cole introduces us to the closest thing that WWE has to a cartoon float. JR out comes Ross to a nice pop from the crowd. Well, just for the introduction, I was dead asleep. This was not a very good Raw program at all. My opinion, they could have stuck to a 1-hour program on the internet, such as Superstars, or even worse than that, NXT. Okay, well, back to the program. Cole has 3 challenges, and if Ross wins all 3, he gets his job back on Raw, and Cole will quit. Cole reveals an arm wrestling stand and calls out a referee. So, this is Fat Tub of Goo doesn't cheat. Cole takes off his jacket and rolls up his sleeve as the crowd chants for JR. They go to the arm wrestle, and Cole stalls. Ross wins the challenge immediately. Cole says he lost because JR's barbecue breath. They show replays of Cole losing the arm wrestling contest. The next challenge will see fans voting on Twitter, voting on the winner of the next challenge. And it's a dance competition. Boy, am I glad I didn't see that. I even DVR'd it. Well, guess what? Comcast with your even DVR digital feed still screws up and even records it. So, when I complain to Comcast, I've got video footage to show it. Therefore, I'm not paying no Comcast bill. Cole had some music played and dances around with a scarf. Ross asked the crowd to join him, and he had some old school hip hop playing. Ross gets down, and the crowd loves it. Cole asks for the fans who won the competition, and Ross wins hands down. Next competition is who weighs less. And Cole reveals a scale. Cole hops on the scales and forgets to turn them on. He turns it on and weighs in at 200 pounds. Ross weighed in at 239 pounds. Cole announces Ross as the loser. CM Punk's music hits. And out he comes with a microphone. This is where the cable footage actually was coming back in and out. The only thing I have problem with Comcast is it doesn't mess up on the HD programming or HD channels, only on the local affiliated channels and the lower, which is the lower channels on your schedule. Punk made his way to the ring. Cole asked him how he can interrupt this. Punk tells Cole that his time is up. Punk says once it became painfully obvious that Cole wasn't going to give JR a legit shot at getting his job back, the entire thing became a waste of time. Except JR dancing, Punk says. Punk puts JR over and says he's a better announcer than Cole ever is. Punk says that this is all a waste of everybody's time. He says Cole's 15 minutes of fame is over. He had his WrestleMania match and now he wants him to leave. Punk says Raw is becoming unbearable. Punk says when he becomes WWE champion, he will do whatever it takes to make Raw as good as it can be. He's starting now by taking care of Cole. Well, John Laurinaitis interrupts and says he is disappointed. Well, so are the fans by him coming out. Well, Laurinaitis puts over his Twitter account and says his followers want to see the challenge. Punk says to screw Laurinaitis and his followers. Laurinaitis says he cares about his Twitter followers. Laurinaitis announces Punk and Big Show versus Mark Henry and Alberto for later on tonight, and wishes Punk good luck. Cole starts laughing at Punk and says it looks like the pipe bomb blew up in his face. Cole demands that Punk says he's sorry for everything he just said. Punk looks at the camera and smiles with a little smirk. You think I'm going to do that? You're full of crap, he said. That's the dirty look he was given. And as Cole goes on wanting an apology, Punk lays Cole out with a headbutt, locks him in the anaconda device, and Punk yells, "I'm sorry," as Cole screams in pain, Punk makes his exit. Backstage segment with Mike Striker in a black limousine pulling up. Striker teases that it's The Rock, but instead Mick Foley hops out, and the crowd pops. Yeah, I told you weeks ago that Foley was scheduled for the Rock and Sock reunion, but even though WWE took him off the website, he still made his appearance. Foley says he wouldn't miss The Rock's return for anything in the world. Foley says tonight will be a night that John Cena or The Rock won't forget. Foley says it's great to be back in Boston and makes his way through the backstage area back to commercial. Sin Cara and Kofi Kingston versus Cody Rhodes and Hunico for your first match. They go to the ring and out comes Sin Cara. JR has joined Lawler on commentary. Out next comes Kara's opponent, one half of the tag team champions, Kofi Kingston. Out next comes the Intercontinental champion Cody Rhodes and Hunico. Cody is no longer wearing his mask after Randy Orton broke it on SmackDown. They show a sidebar video of Cody and he seems happy about losing the mask. Cody's partner Hunico is out next. Hunico and Cara start things off. Cara takes him down with kicks. They run the ropes. Cara ends up hitting a head scissors takedown. Carried with an arm drag off the ropes to take down Kofi. Kofi comes off the top on Hunico with a forearm shot. Hunico runs into an elbow. Kofi catapults him across the ring. Takes out Cody, who runs in. Kofi leaps off the top to the floor, taking out Cody. As Kara leaps to the floor and takes out Hunico. They go to commercial. Back from the break, Cody and Hunico are in control of Sin Cara after the break. Kofi finally gets a tag, but the finish comes when Cody hits Crossroads on Kofi for the win. As Sin Cara was taking out Hunico outside the ring. We see Rock walking through the backstage area as we go back to commercial. Back from the break, and Santino is backstage playing the Rock versus John Cena on WWE 12 video game. Zack Ryder walks in and asks Santino to go online and sign his petition to get a United States title shot. They argue about who would win between Rock and Cena, but agree that they will beat The Miz and Awesome Truth at Survivor Series. Well, as they went online, this was on Zack Ryder's cell phone. It's got the purple cell phone with the fire on the back. Then they go to the arena, and out comes Miss Piggy Guerrero to heat from the crowd. She talks about Christian, who was being injured on the European tour, and he won't be on Team Barrett at Survivor Series. Vicky goes on. Then she's interrupted by United States Champion Dolph Ziggler. He interrupts her and announces that he will be on Team Barrett. Ziggler wonders why it's called Team Barrett when he's the one with the title. Dolph talks about having to face Mason Ryan tonight and says he will get a taste of what Team Orton is going to get on Sunday. Dolph heads to the ring with Vicky as we go to commercial. Next up, Ziggler versus Ryan. Back from the break, Laryngitis is at ringside with Michael Cole. Laryngitis orders JR to leave the announcer's table. Ross leaves as Cole threatens to sue him. Cole takes the headset, and Ross has been fired again. Cole says he spoke with David Otunga and will be suing CM Punk also. Mason Ryan makes his way, and they lock up. Dolph tries to escape the ring, but Ryan pulls him back in and hits a huge clothesline. Ryan with a spear in the corner and a big boot. Mason continued on Dolph until Vicky got on the apron and slapped him for the DQ. After the match, Ziggler tried to leave, but John Morrison ran down the ramp and throws him back in the ring. Ryan locks Ziggler in his full Nelson finisher and leaves Dolph lying in the ring. Mick Foley is shown backstage walking and runs into Zack Ryder. Ryder wants him to sign the U.S. title petition. Foley agrees to sign a petition on his cell phone again after Ryder teaches him how to fist pump. Foley makes his way to the ring as we go to commercial. Back from the break, Mick Foley is introduced. Foley makes his return to Raw and gets a big pop from the crowd, the most boring part of the program. I could have went back to sleep during this. Foley says there's no place like home. There's no place like home. I thought we have heard that a million times when Dorothy said it on The Wizard of Oz. Foley says he's here to talk about serious business and brings up The Rock and John Cena teaming at Survivor Series. The Rock and Cena connection, he calls it. Foley goes on and brings out John Cena to a mixed reaction. Mostly boos. Cena comes out and talks about not picking The Rock as his partner because they are friends. Cena and Foley talk about how they respect each other. Foley recalls writing a letter to Cena back in 2006 and how well he carried himself backstage. For that, Foley calls Cena a hell of a man. Foley plugs his Twitter and talks about how he tweeted on Cena having great matches one night. Foley says it was like a firestorm of controversy from the fans. Foley shows off his shirt, which is a half and half shirt with the hate shirt and his own shirt. Which is half team. That's what it is. Half team bring it and half rise above the hate. Foley says he wants to be the thread that brings The Rock and Cena together tonight. Foley shows us this is your life, Cena. Video about Cena on the big screen, and it's great stuff so far. But Cena doesn't like it. Foley brings out Cena's Little League coach to the ring. The guy jogs out to the ring and hugs Cena. Cena doesn't look like he's buying it. The coach tells a story about how the team needed Cena, but he struck out and then cried his eyes out. Cena tells Foley that he's striking out with this whole thing. Foley had something else from Cena's past. His former tag team partner, superstar, Bull Buchanan, who rapped with Cena back in 2003. Bull says Cena was the best tag team partner he ever had and calls teaming with Cena the greatest time in his life. Bull says now Cena is possibly the greatest superstar of all time. Himself, he got fired, divorced, lost all of his money in a Ponzi scheme, and his dog gave him rabies since he got bit by his dog. Bull tells Cena that he ruined his life and walks out of the ring. Then Foley brings Cena's dad in, John Cena Sr. Sr. had a message for the testosterone Jack fans out there yelling, Cena sucks. Cena Sr. Says Cena doesn't suck, they suck. Cena's dad goes on and calls the fans losers. Cena cuts his dad off and says he loves him, but this is awful and not the right time. Cena sends his dad backstage and says he will see him soon. Cena says that wasn't his life. This is his life in the ring now. Being in front of the people, being whether they want to cheer him or boo him, his 2 feet in the ring is all he has. That's what he's got going on. Going to show on Sunday, Cena says. Cena says the segment is one of wrestling's greatest tragedies, and he's ending it. Foley says he's going to salvage it. Foley says he's disappointed the fans are showing Cena's disrespect tonight. Foley has someone else he's going to bring out, but The Rock's music interrupts. Rock comes marching to the ring to a huge pop from the crowd. Only comes in and gives him rock bottom. Back up the ramp he goes. Cena is shocked, but he's smiling and laughing as he tends to Foley. Well, Michael Cole plugs Barrett versus Orton for tonight's tag team main event as they go to commercial. Next up, the Great White Sheamus versus Jack Swagger. Back from the break, out comes Sheamus to the ring. His opponent Jack Swagger out next with Vicky Guerrero. They lock up. Sheamus takes Swagger down first with a headlock. Sheamus with a shoulder block now. Swagger goes behind and slams Sheamus on the mat. Sheamus fights out with elbows and kicks Swagger in the face before clotheslining him. Sheamus drops a series of knees on Swagger as Vicky's screaming. Sheamus clotheslines Swagger out to the floor. Then they go to commercial. Back from the break, they're going at it. Two count for Sheamus. Swagger ducks a clothesline and takes out Sheamus' leg. Swagger collides with Sheamus again for a 1 count. Swagger catches Sheamus with a belly-to-belly suplex for a 2. Sheamus finally makes a comeback and beats Swagger down in the corner. Sheamus with a clothesline in the corner and a knee to the face. Sheamus nails a big power slam for a 2 count. Sheamus goes for the Celtic Cross, but Swagger slides out and lays him out. Swagger hits the splash from the crowd. Swagger hits the splash from the second rope and applies the ankle lock in the middle of the ring. Sheamus breaks the hold, kicks Swagger out of the ring. Swagger comes back in and Sheamus hits the Irish Curse backbreaker. Sheamus connects with the brogue kick for the win. Sheamus goes for a Celtic Cross, but Swagger slides out and lays him out. Swagger hits a splash from the... Whoa. Well, that one was... I guess I did that one twice. Okay, Zack Ryder is backstage asking the Bella Twins to sign his petition. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, WWE Champion Alberto Del Rio walks up with Ricardo Rodriguez. He would love to stay and talk with the Bellas, but he has an important meeting with John Laurinaitis. LaBella say maybe they can hang out with Del Rio after Survivor Series. Ryder tells them they can come to Long Island and fist bump with him all night long. Del Rio leaves, and LaBella's rolled their eyes at Ryder before leaving. Well, actually, Ryder said, "What? Was it something I said?" Natalya versus Kelly. Kelly was up next. Back from the break. Natalya's already in the ring with the Diva Championship champion, Beth Phoenix. Kelly has Eve Torres and Alicia Fox with her. They cut to a video behind the scenes footage from Kelly's Maxim shoot. The match starts and Natalya takes control first. Not much of a match. Kelly turns it around, does a stick face in the corner. Natalya comes back for a sharpshooter. Kelly reverses it into a roll up for the win. A more hype for The Rock tonight as we go to commercial. Laryngitis is backstage on the phone with Brodus Clay. Laryngitis wants Clay's debut to be big and feels he will be overshadowed on The Rock show. Laryngitis says Clay will debut next week. Well, they've been saying this for the last 3 weeks. Alberto Del Rio walks in and they talk about the match with CM Punk at Survivor Series. Del Rio says Punk might not make it to the Survivor Series. Del Rio says the industry is better with him as champion, and he will be champion for a long time. Del Rio grabs Laurinaitis' thigh like he's choking him and says he will be champion longer than Laurinaitis will be general manager. As they cut to another segment, Cole the Lawyer run down the card for Survivor Series pay-per-view. Matt Striker's backstage with The Miz and R-Truth. He asks them if they feel overshadowed. They don't say nothing. He asks if they feel disrespected after last week, and still nothing, they said. Striker then asks, what can also Truth do to get attention of John Cena and The Rock? They just look at each other and walk off to the ring. Well, apparently they wasn't going to the ring. Then all of a sudden we see CM Punk walking backstage beside the 18-wheeler. Well, then he's attacked by Alberto Del Rio before they go to commercial. Slammed his shoulder and his head into the side of the truck. The trailer part, at least. Well, CM Punk and Big Show versus Alberto Del Rio and Mark Henry is up next. Back for the break, Ricardo Rodriguez begins to introduce Alberto Del Rio. Comes driving in the arena. Out next comes the World Heavyweight Champion, Mark Henry. Big Show is out first for his team, followed by Punk. Punk is clutching his shoulder from the attack. Punk enters the ring and chases Del Rio out and around the ring. Show and Del Rio start things off. Show knocks Del Rio down and scoop slams him. Show with a big chop in the corner. Punk comes in, unloads on Del Rio, beating him down in the corner. Punk stomps away as the referee tries to pull him apart. Punk continues the onslaught and suplexes Del Rio for 2. Show comes back in, and as does Henry. They meet in the middle and lock up. Well, they break up and lock up again. Well, this report is so biased and false. There was Mark Henry getting the better of the two in the first 2 lockups and the power outs. Henry just shoves Show back. They lock up again, and it goes at it again. But on the 3rd time, Henry was shoved to the mat by Big Show. Show gives him a headbutt now, knocks him back down. Show scoots Henry, but he falls on top of him for 2. Henry worked on Show's knee now and tags back in Del Rio. Del Rio kicks away at Show's head, covers for a 1 count. Henry comes back in and keeps Show grounded. Show delivers a bunch of body blows from his knees. Show gets to his feet, fires away with headbutts. Show drops Henry with a shoulder. Del Rio and Henry argue as they go to commercial. Well, Henry was went to tag Del Rio as Henry was about to walk away. Well, Del Rio kicked him on the shoulder for the tag because he didn't want to get tagged in. Well, when they went to commercial, back for the break, and Del Rio was tagged in. But Del Rio tags in Henry while Punk reaches for the tag to toe. Henry beats down Punk some more and stands on him. Del Rio comes back in and works Punk over for another 2 count. Del Rio with a backbreaker for a 2. Another tag to Henry. Punk starts to fight back, but Henry drops him with his headbutt. Del Rio comes back in and kicks Punk before going to the arm. Punk fights back and drops Del Rio. Henry comes back in, but Punk kicks him in the head. Punk springboards in, but Henry catches him in midair and slams him. They had the world's strongest slam. Show comes in and they go at it, going to the floor. Del Rio takes advantage and covers Punk for the win. After the match, Del Rio attacks Punk again and applies the cross arm breaker. Big Show runs back in and Del Rio releases the maneuver and flees the ring. The show a replay from earlier with Rock and Mick Foley before going back to commercial. Well, like I said, I didn't actually see that segment because, like I said, I dozed off again during the show. Glad they did the replay of what happened with the Rock bottom 2 or 3 times. Back for the break, out comes Santino Marella. Santino talks about how he almost won the Royal Rumble and then blamed it on he actually didn't blame it on Kevin Nash the first time. He blamed it on Del Rio. And then blamed it on Kevin Nash. Nash's music hits and out he comes to the ring. Nash comes out to his NWO music again. Santino does his he just asked Kevin Nash for one thing. Don't hit him. And what have you. Well, Kevin Nash says, I just want to see one thing. You know, what's that thing you do? He calls it the trombone. Well, Santino turns around after doing the trombone, very similar to ODB's little horn tooting. Santino turns around into a big boot from Kevin Nash. Nash cut a promo and said he's here. Triple H isn't. Nash picks up Santino for the Jackknife Powerbomb and leaves the ring. Randy Orton backstage getting ready for his match as he's doing push-ups as they go to commercial when he stands up. Next up, Wade Barrett versus Randy Orton. Wade Barrett came out with Hunico, Dolph Ziggler, Cody Rhodes, and Zack Swagger. Barrett cut a promo before Randy Orton came out with Sin Cara, Sheamus, Kofi, and Mason Ryan. Back from the commercial, Barrett and Orton go at it while their teammates are around the ring. Orton clotheslines Barrett and hits a big suplex. Orton drops a knee and covers Barrett for a 2. Barrett catches Orton with a big side slam off the ropes for a 2 of his own. Barrett mounts Orton with right hands now. Barrett whips Orton hard in the corner and stomps away. Orton finally makes a comeback and hits the clothesline scoop slam, three clothesline and scoop slam combo. Orton hits the draping DDT and waits for the RKO. Cody attacks Orton from behind, which gets the DQ. And the rest of the superstars enter the ring. It comes down to Team Orton. It comes down to Team Orton versus Hunico, who receives an RKO. Ryan then throws Hunico over the top rope after Randy Orton just told him to do your thing. He went crashing through three of the team members as Cody is walking up back up from the ramp way. We got another replay of The Rock laying out Mick Foley. Up next, Rock will come back out. We go back to commercial. Back for the break. Out comes The Rock to another big pop from Boston. Rock marches into the ring once again, and this time poses for the fans. Rock's music stops, and the crowd chants his name. The Rock recalls how he started his day at 3 a.m., and through everything, he couldn't wait. He couldn't wait for the chance to say, finally, The Rock has come back to Boston. Rock talks about Survivor Series, but that's 6 days away, and not right now. Rock lives for right now, he says. Rock says he couldn't stand it any longer. And when Foley was out there serving his hot garbage to the fans chant, thank you, Rock. And all these chants were, they sounded like they were staged anyways. Rock talks about how influential he is on Twitter and how he can get boots to asses, as it's on the back of his new T-shirt, to trend worldwide right now. The crowd starts chanting his name again, and then chants boots to asses, boots to asses, boots to asses, bringing a smile to Rock's face. Rock then says they just made Twitter history from Boston. Rock says he isn't waiting 6 days. Tonight he is going to deliver some awesome ass whooping to Awesome Truth, and he's going to do it right now. Out comes Miz and R-Truth. Miz is in the ring along with Truth, and Miz does this. Really? Really, Rock? Truth says if Rock thinks for 1 second he is doing anything to them, he's the most delusional man in entertainment. Truth says every time they're on the show, Raw gets, and of course, Miz steps in and says, awesome. Miz doesn't care about how The Rock spends his day, or what he gets the trend. They care about leaving him a mess. Truth says they can do it right now, and goes to take his jacket off. Miz stops and Rock stands his ground. Miz says that's not going to happen right now. Miz says they don't care what Rock wants or what the fans want. It's about what they want. What they want is to make history at Survivor Series. Miz said Rock gets beat on Sunday, and that's the truth. As R-Truth says, the crowd chants boots to asses again as Awesome Truth goes to leave the ring. John Cena's music hits. Out he comes. Cena hits the ring and asks Miz if he's wearing makeup. Because it actually did look like he was wearing makeup. Cena apologizes for his partner and says the only thing Rock has brought for 7 years is crappy messages via satellite, and smiles. They are not even looking at each other during this whole segment. Because The Rock's looking at one side of the crowd, John Cena's got his back to him, and he's looking at the other side of the crowd. Well, The Rock apologizes for Cena because he's not used to having support from someone who's hit puberty. Rock says Cena should be worried about his boot rising up to kick him in his lady parts. By the way, Cena's lady parts is trending worldwide, he says. Cena says that if his partner's ego gets in the way at Survivor Series, then Cena will bitch slap Rocky. Will be trending worldwide. Miz says he's so sick of this and mocks them both. Miz says it will never be forgotten once they get done with The Rock and Cena at Survivor Series. Truth says little Johnny and little Rocky can go back and forth in front of all the little Jimmys all they want. Well, they will see them on Sunday. A boots to asses chant starts to break out again. Rock stops them and decks Truth as Cena tackles Miz. Rock hits a rock bottom on R-Truth as Cena goes for an attitude adjustment on Miz. But Rock pulls Miz off Cena and lays Miz out with the rock bottom himself. Rock exits the ring and Cena looks on pissed. Rock stops at the stage and flashes Cena's "you can't see me" gesture like this. Almost looks like he's about to shoot a bird. Cena looks on from the ring as Rock bows away and Raw goes off the air. And there's no report for the dark match main event as they advertise on Raw there would be a tag match of Zack Ryder teaming with Team Bring It versus the tag team of Awesome Truth and another partner. But that hasn't been reported yet, so that'll be on my report tomorrow night with the SmackDown spoilers. Thanks for viewing. Y'all can see me tomorrow night.